Less than 3 weeks away from the U.S. midterm elections, we're exploring what exactly Americans will be voting for. First up today on CNN Student News, 5 things to know about the midterms. 1, they're called midterms because they happen in the middle of a president's 4-year term. So voters aren't choosing a president this year. They're choosing their representatives in Congress as well as many local and state offices. 2, the U.S. House of Representatives. Elected officials serve 2-year terms. That means all of the chamber's 435 seats are up for election this year. 3, Republicans currently control the House by a significant majority. They're expected to stay in control after this year's midterms. 4, the U.S. Senate. Elected officials there serve 6-year terms, so about a third of the chamber's 100 seats are up for election. Democrats currently control the Senate, but by a slim majority. So 5, many analysts are saying Republicans have a good chance of taking Senate control this fall. The date of the vote, November 4th. Next today, we've heard from the nurse at a hospital in Dallas, Texas, who apparently caught the Ebola virus from a victim she was treating. 26-year-old Nina Pham says she's doing well and thanks everyone for their kind wishes and prayers. She also says she's blessed by the support of family, friends, and the care of doctors and nurses at her hospital. Pham also received a blood transfusion from American Ebola survivor Dr. Kent Brantley. It's possible that antibodies from a survivor's blood could help someone else with the disease. According to the World Health Organization, almost 9,000 cases of Ebola have been reported, mostly in West Africa. About half of those people have died. The World Health Organization expects that by December, between 5,000 and 10,000 new cases will be reported every week in West Africa. In the U.S., the CDC is preparing an emergency response team that it says can be at any American hospital within hours to help treat Ebola and prevent it from spreading. Dr. Sanjay Gupta explains how that can happen to healthcare workers.
So I want to give you an idea of what the CDC is recommending in terms of how to protect yourself with this personal protective gear. I'm also going to show you how to take it off, which some say is the most dangerous part. I will point out as we start to do this, I work in an operating room every week. This is different than what most doctors I think are used to, at least in the operating room. Now, I do want to point out this is a little different than how I suited up when I was in Guinea, but we're following CDC protocol. And I want to show you how I'm going to take this protective equipment off, and I'm also going to put a little chocolate sauce in my hand, which could represent a possible Ebola contamination. Take a look. This is the mask back on. So here's would be the most likely contaminated area. Would be my gloves, and maybe the front of my gown, a bit like this. Okay, now I gotta treat this as if I'm potentially contaminated. I come out. What I'm gonna do with this particular gown is I'm gonna rip it all off together, and everything's gonna come off simultaneously. But if part of the glove sort of brushed against my hand, my arm there, that could potentially be an exposure. If the glove didn't come off properly, I would reach underneath here as best I could and get underneath there, but perhaps if I didn't do it exactly right, there could be another potential exposure there. I'm reaching behind now as well as I can, but let's say the side of my face shield was contaminated and I touched here. That could potentially be an exposure. Same thing here now with the face mask. So now take a look. Right there, see a little bit of chocolate sauce, one possible exposure, and over here on my neck, one possible exposure.
See if you can ID me. Here are your clues. I was formed in 1907 as a division of the US Army Signal Corps, but I became an independent branch of the military in 1947. By far, I'm the youngest branch of the US Armed Forces. I'm the Air Force, responsible for air defense, air warfare, and the US military's research in space.
That research includes the X-37B. It's 29 feet long, about the length of an RV. It's 9.5 feet high. It has 0 pilots, and as far as its capabilities are concerned, they're classified. The Air Force originally said that an X-37B mission that started in 2012 would last about 9 months. It lasted more than 22. Why?
There's a mysterious robotic space plane that has been orbiting the Earth for the past 22 months. It's the Air Force's X-37B, also known as the Orbital Test Vehicle, and it's set to return to Earth this week to Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. The Air Force has 2 X-37B space planes in its fleet, and has been sending them into space on secretive missions since 2010. The latest mission is the 3rd of its kind, and this plane remained in space much longer than its predecessors. So, what kind of information are they gathering, and why the secrecy? The theories out there are countless. I mean, spy satellites capturing images of political hotspots, space weaponry being tested, the rumors go on and on. However, the Air Force maintains that this is solely an experimental test vehicle. The primary objective of the missions are officially to test spacecraft technologies for America's future in space, and operating experiments which can be returned to and examined on Earth. Sounds pretty vague, huh? Here's what we do know. The planes resemble NASA's space shuttles, but are about a quarter the length and have payloads the size of a pickup truck bed. They use an Atlas V rocket to blast off and then land on a runway. They can also stay in space for such long periods of time because they're unmanned and use a solar array for power. Boeing built the planes, but because it's a classified project, we don't know the price. We know when they take off, we know when they land. These missions are not a secret, but what happens in between is shrouded in mystery.
Coast to coast, east to west, roll to call. Del Campo High School is here today. From Fair Oaks, California, we're shouting out the Cougars. Tommy Spear Middle School is also present. Hello to the Black Diamonds of Sallisaw, Oklahoma. And in Hopedale, Massachusetts, we've got the Blue Raiders watching. Good to see y'all at Hopedale Junior Senior High School. If I were to say you're about to see some racing, you might think track, this is faster. You might think NASCAR, this is faster. You might think Formula One, guess what? Faster. It's a motorsport, but it's off-road by about 80 feet or more. It's against the clock by milliseconds, and if you want to do it, you'll need to start with a pilot's license. Rockets, planes, and now automobiles. Kelly Foster is a veteran of the Iraq War. After his first tour of duty, he bought this 1965 Mustang. He's been paying little by little to have it restored bit by bit. Well, a stranger heard the story and decided to speed things up. She covered most of the restoration's $20,000 price tag and surprised Foster with his newly restored vintage car. The reason? Just to thank a veteran for serving his country. The idea was restorative, the sentiment constructive, the force driving, the story a classic. People hold the keys to kindness. Make no Mustang about it. I'm Carl Azus for CNN Student News. We hope your teachers will steer you back this way tomorrow.